Hey mamas, welcome. Welcome to what could be my most heartfelt and empowering podcast to date, because this particular episode is aimed at all you mums out there, all you mothers, all you warrior mamas out there who have been struggling against the odds for a long time now, and navigating what it means to be a woman and what it means to be a parent in these times, which are, let's face it, totes cray cray. This is like unprecedented times that we've been through, and some of the things that we're experiencing and going through are, let's face it, off the scale stressful. And yet there's an expectation on women and on mums in particular to have it all together, to have our shit together, and to look after everyone, and to keep all the balls in the air, and to be perfect, and to never let the mask slip. And a lot of my coaching is based, especially my new 12-month program is based around this, trying to support this space and these beliefs that have been programmed in culturally. And I may get some kickback because, I always do. There's always some kickback from, when I do something at a specific group, then there are other groups who, feel like, they're being abandoned or let down. And I understand that. But I make a pledge that I am going to be looking at every single group I possibly can and targeting some content. So over the years, I've worked with so many people, and I have made it my mission, as you know, if you followed my journey, to help and support as many people as I can. And I have this whole brilliant network and framework set up now with Mojo School that is a catch them all. The content on Mojo School works for everybody, absolutely everybody from age 13, 14 plus. And I've done it that way specially. But that's very difficult to share and market and grow, because there's no group, is there? There's no group that I'm aiming it at, but I wanted to make sure I didn't leave anyone behind. I didn't leave anyone out. So the content is there for everybody. And I've worked over the years with lots of groups, and I have a special skill. I've worked really well with men's mental health, and that's a particular passion of mine, is supporting men and supporting dads. It breaks my heart when I see what our guys and what our dads have to go through with very, very little support. And even if the support is there, the perception of what it means to be a man, and the what's going on in men's brains preventing the reaching out for help really does break my heart. So I have a real passion for that, and I'm going to be working really hard on that. However, right now, it's mama's time. Actually, I didn't realize I had it on today. So there you go. There's a sign there. I have my Mama Wolf top on today, which has been my nickname for a number of years now. So Mama Wolf, it's time for you mamas out there. This is my focus at the moment, and I instinctively, naturally, am guided and feel that this is the right time to power up the mama force out there. And this is what I'm going to do. So I wanted to speak a little bit around how important this is, and how important it is to identify the need for this kind of work, and how it affects you as a mum. And I'm going to talk a little bit around the woo-woo stuff, because there's no way around it. I try to translate most of my work into very scientific, very non-woo-woo, non-jargonistic speak. But sometimes there is no way around it, and sometimes the stuff that I want to get across, and bear in mind, this is my story, my journey, my personal experience that I want to share with whoever it resonates with. So if it doesn't hit, it's not a problem. It's never a problem. It just might not be for you. But I know from conversations that I'm having that many, 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 many mums out there are really resonating with this. We can feel it in our bones. It runs through our veins. This is, genetics. This is DNA. This is ancestral wisdom being passed down. And it is something that we can't avoid. We can't run away from. And the timing now, things are shifting a lot. And I think it's time now that we actually start to explore that. So I'm going to keep it as less woo as I possibly can. But, if it ain't for you, switch off now, because you probably won't like it. However, let me just make sure this is, it's fine, okay, nothing to see here. So when I talk about women and female, I'm talking about energy more than anything else. Okay, so if you take out biology from it, I'm talking about divine feminine energy. And as women, we naturally operate, or most people do, I'm slightly different actually, which I'll show in a second, but operate or should be operating in this way. And there should be balance between the divine feminine in a person, whether they're a man or a woman, and the divine masculine energy. So as women, we tend to have more feminine characteristics, and we have a more divine feminine energy that we tend to work with naturally, but we have the masculine that we need to balance. And men, it's the other way around. Now, me personally, I am cisgendered, so I was born a woman and I'm still a woman, and I operate very, very strongly from masculine energy. So if you can kind of wrap your head around that, it's a really good basis for what I'm going to try and explain to you now. So I am really driven and motivated and task oriented. I have a competitive streak. I'm a bit of a natural fighter and leader. And that's great because I also have my divine feminine. I have empathy and compassion in spades. So those two things together work really well for my role and my purpose and what I do with my life. But I very much run off masculine energy. So personally, I have to balance that, and I have to balance the fact that I'm not very particularly tactile, and that I show my love and affection through task and through achievement, and that are traditionally quite masculine elements. So I do a lot of work around self-nurturing, self-love, around communicating in a different way that's slightly more from the feminine space. And that's, I've learned along the way, helps keep me balanced. There's loads to go into there. And a lot of people in the energy space will disagree with that as well, which is also fine. This is how it works for me, and this is what I want to share. So skipping forward a little bit past that, when it comes to the work that I think we need to do now collectively, and why I want to bring a squad, nay, an army of mums together, is because over the last few hundred years, we shall take as an example, energy in general out there has become way, 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 way unbalanced. And we have become so heavily into the patriarchy and the divine masculine, the wounded masculine, that we've just gone batshit crazy and it's all been a bit wrong. So we really, really have to recalibrate. We really have to do this work. And if the energy stuff doesn't resonate with you, well, then the practical stuff will. So just roll with it anyway. In any case, it's going to help massively. But energetically and in the bigger picture, we need to step into our power, girls. We need to find that power and reclaim it. And we've had years and years and years of having that power taken away, having it repressed, for it not being safe to be able to step into our power. For us in society being told that, you know, there's lots of posts and memes going around at the moment that if you're too loud, there's something wrong with you. If you're too quiet, there's something wrong with you. You're too thin, you're too fat, you're too confident, you're not confident enough. You can never win. So I know that the guys out there have a completely different set of experiences as well, which we're going to move on to in time. But in terms of women, and in particular mothers, this is my driver at the moment, and this is the specific area that I'm going to be focusing on for a little while. And we have to get the balance back. It's essential. And to not to put too fine a point on it, but it's essential for our future generations. And one of my big passions is protecting and supporting the future generations and our kids. And so many, I've had difficulty over the last couple of years. As a mum myself, you know, I've got 4 kids and I'm balancing businesses, kids, motherhood, self-care, trying to be authentic and trying to be everything, and recovering people pleaser. It's not easy, mate. It's not easy at all. But that's my journey and my shadow work to be able to work through some of those challenges, pass on the wisdom to you guys. It's literally why I'm here. So along that journey, I have been developing, as you know, my social enterprise. So Art and Soul Tribe, I've been busy developing that because we need field agents. We need to be out there on the front line, putting little plasters on gaping wounds and trying to patch people up and help them get through their daily life and survive. But also in the background, we need to be doing what I've been building with Mojo School and help people move from just surviving to thriving. So we have to do the work that prevents, the preventative work. We have to do the repairing and the healing work. We can't just go on living in such despair and trauma and perpetuating that and seeing how it affects the future generations. And you can see how much worse it's getting generation after generation, where our emotional selves and our psychological selves cannot keep up with the level of how fast we're evolving technologically. And then we put people in schools that aren't evolving at all, that are back in the 1900s. And it's so damaging. And as parents, we're already damaged, and we are passing on some of this shit to our kids. And they are having the next generation of harm, and then they're passing it on to their kids. So, no more. Not on my watch. We have to stop this. We have to each play a part in doing something to counteract all of the harm that's being done. And that is my mission. That is my passion. And that's why I wanted to specifically do this podcast for you mamas out there, to explain this process and to explain how important it is that we recognize this and we realize and we step into our power. This isn't about the big gender debate. This isn't about boys versus girls. This isn't about the patriarchy, the matriarchy, the feminazis, the we hate men brigade, and it's nothing to do with that. It's about supporting everybody and finding out how we do that on a vibrational level, on a practical level, on a family level, on an individual level, on a community level. Because if each of us can play a little part in that, we collectively shift massively. So my role at the moment, mummies, is to help you do that in your own life and for your own children. And if we can grow that and grow that and grow that, it grows exponentially and it has a huge ripple effect. So all we need to do is start with the micro, and it automatically expands out to the macro. So how we're going to do that is we need to do some shadow work. You know, that scary shadow work that nobody wants to do. But trust me when I say it's the game changer, the most powerful thing you can do. When you start to shine a light on some of the stuff that's hidden and repressed and hiding, it's not that scary. It just goes, okay, there it is. Let's sort it out and get rid of it then. Honestly, my journey has been all about that. And I have done that by myself without this kind of support. So when you've got people holding your hand in a community, it really isn't that scary. And it's essential for us to be able to do the work that we need to do. Now, working out in the communities and working with young people, I've done lots of work with our youth tribe and with some severely traumatized young people. A lot of neurodivergence, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of school refusers, a lot of naughty kids. You know what I'm talking about. And I have been working in that space for a long time now. And as I've been assessing and as I've been moving through and helping and supporting our young people, I've started to notice that actually the parents are just as traumatized. The parents trying their hardest to force their children to go into an educational space that isn't fit for purpose and actually harms them on a daily basis. The feeling of guilt of whatever you do isn't right. If you take the kids out, what do you do? If you keep your kids in, what do you do? Not being able to help and support your child and watching them be harmed without being able to do anything about it is one of the most traumatic things that you can experience as a parent. So I see that a lot. And I see parents and mums in particular with their own stacked trauma, stacked from their own childhood, all kinds of things, programming from not being good enough, not being worthy, life not being safe, communities and spaces not being safe, always being judged. And that gets passed on. Kids do as they see. They watch and we model our behavior, whether we like it or not. They don't do as we say, they do as we do. So, that perpetuates even more trouble. I can remember going back to 10, 12 years ago when I started to step out of the fashion industry and create my own editorials and shows and shoots. And I wanted to do a big campaign. I went to Liverpool and I wanted everybody, men, women, boys, girls, male, female, no matter what, just everybody, different shapes, different sizes, just to come and collectively celebrate people being perfect as they are. Just perfect, however you are. Rock up in your pajamas, wear a ball gown. We're going to do a big photo shoot and we're going to show what reality is. This is what people are like, and there's nothing wrong with any single person. And I can remember several mums messaging me saying, oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. Can my daughter please, please, please come? She has the worst self-esteem. She's self-harming. She's restricting her food. My daughter is just struggling so much. I don't know what to do to help her. I'll bring her with me, but I can't get in front of the camera because I'll break it. Lols. Where is this low self-esteem coming from? Where is this crippling self-doubt and lack of confidence coming from? It's learned behavior. And that's something that's difficult to take and difficult to swallow, but we have to work on that. So, by helping young people over the past decade, I've realized that mums need healing. Mums need a space that's safe, a space that's free from judgment on your parenting, for starters, and free from judgment on you as a person and your story and your experiences, and that level of shame and guilt, and just it's overwhelming. It's a difficult job. It's the hardest job, and there isn't a manual. I wish there was. So yeah, I really wish there was a manual, because you have to learn by trial and error, and there is emotions involved, your own and your children's and your partners and your families. And it's really difficult. You feel like you can't do right for wrong a lot of the time. And a lot of the time it's really sad, but we don't feel we have anyone to turn to, because we feel like we're going to be judged. We feel like we can't get it wrong. We can't let people down. We have to just parade out in masks every day and show how perfect we are. And if I just post a picture of what I'm cooking for tea or pushing my child on a swing at the park, then everyone will see how amazing everything is, and no one will know how awful it is and how hard I'm finding it. And it makes me so sad that so many people are experiencing this, and there just doesn't seem to be enough help, or enough of the right kind of help. You know, I'm really passionate about upskilling and, you know, the whole teach someone to fish analogy rather than just providing the fish. You know, it's not about fixing problems. It's not about doing things for people. It's not about temporary boosts, although I'm really good at that. I can make you feel great, but it's not about those temporary boosts. It's around doing the work. It's weeding out the roots. It's about building a proper toolkit. It's about relearning. It's around reparenting your inner child. It's around sorting through the mess that's in there and getting rid of the things and uninstalling the apps that you don't need anymore, and installing some new software that's like kick-ass mama software. Building your toolkit, getting that rucksack filled with stuff that you need that you can then pass on to your children. Having some resources that you can use with your kids and your family and your partners to kind of reframe things and reshape things, because we cannot rely on governments and institutions for any real change. Change comes from the people. I've said that quote hundreds of times on stages over the years, and it never loses its power, and it is so true. We have to take the action. And the beauty is, if we do this together, we can heal together, we can support each other, and we can make the changes on a very small personal level that then ripple out. So it's not enough for me to give you, here's a parenting toolkit because I'm a perfect parent, and this will make your children all feel better. It doesn't work like that. You have to start with you, and empowering you is the best gift you can give your children. You know, I remember seeing a quote a while ago around the only way to inoculate your children against low self-esteem is to build your own confidence. And it might feel terrifying, and it might sound like something that you just can't do it. You can. You absolutely can. I can help you do that. And it's the way that we come together and we raise an army of warrior mamas that are ready to step into their light, and they're ready to step into this time where we create the shift that's so badly needed. The mothers, the nurturers, the compassionate healer, medicine women, warriors. We've been buried for so long. We've been repressed for so long. And that's part of the problem, but it's our time now. It's our time, and we are ready to do what we've always needed to do. We're ready to step into our power. So to finish, I go back to all the woo-woo stuff that I was trying to explain at the beginning. Is we're in a space where we need to suspend our old judgments, and we need to step out of any fear or anger or frustration. And we need to recognize that we need to work on an energetic level, and that means starting with you. And that will ripple out, and it will be the best thing you can do for your children. Right now, my passion is to support the women and the mothers out there, because it's our time to step into that power. And for me, it is about working with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and balancing those two energies in each and every person. And we do that at the moment in the space that we're in by healing the divine masculine and empowering the divine feminine. And if we can do both of those things, then we can achieve the balance that we need, and the landscape of society and life in general will change massively. So that is my final thought for the day. That is the most woo I think I've got yet, because it's so important to me to speak my truth and to show up authentically. And there's no point in me beating around the bush and pretending to be doing something that I'm not, because, you know, I need to be resonating with the people that resonate. I need to be speaking to the people out there who get it, who feel it in their bones and running through their veins, who are ready to step into their power, who are ready to heal, who are ready to be part of this collective change. If I fluff up my language and if I speak inauthentically, or if I pretend I'm doing something that I'm not, or I try and do all things for all people like I've done in the past, it just dilutes the message, and it attracts the wrong people who aren't quite ready on their healing journey yet. And I fling back into my people pleaser trauma response, and I just end up fixing people. So if this isn't for you, I totally understand. Maybe it will be one day. Maybe it will resonate at some point, and that's fine. I'll be here. But for those of you out there that this has hit, and you can feel it somewhere in you that this is your truth as well, I want you to come with me. And I've created a really special space for us to be in. So I'm going to put some links in after this session. And I'm going to try and get you all to just join the Facebook group to start with. So I have the Mojo Mums Positivity Hub. And then from there, I'm going to be able to share some really good stuff, some tools, some little mini courses, some stuff to empower you to start that process. And I've built a really, really epic 12-month program for those of you who want to be on that journey with me. So that's going to be coming really, really soon. And once you're in the main group, you'll be able to, we've got a couple of challenges that are going to be coming soon, a couple of little boost things to get you ready. And then when we're ready to step into that 12-month program, we're going to kick some ass in style, ladies. So if you're ready, let's do this.